Hello, gay people. Welcome to episode 13 of Kings on the Aux, the podcast where drag kings talk music and gender performance. I'm your host, Caius Crow, also known as Ben. It's hard to believe, but we are officially finishing out 1 full year of this podcast. This project has grown so much more than I've imagined. I've interviewed kings from 4 states, representing all kinds of genres and styles, artists who've been doing drag for anywhere from 1 to 20 years. I'm incredibly grateful for the positive audience response and everyone who's listened or shared or commented on an episode. I started out trying to create a space for craft conversations, but I don't think I fully realized what that would mean for emerging drag performers, kings and otherwise. I feel so honored and overwhelmed in a good way anytime someone tells me that an episode taught them something new or helped them to grow as an artist. And in this political moment where queerness and transness are actively and violently suppressed, I get really emotional about this work, which has become ultimately a kind of drag king archive. So, I can't say it enough. Thank you for your support, and stay tuned for Season 2 in 2026. We're closing out Season 1 with an entertainer I admire and respect so much, Poundcake. His impressive drag career began in 2005, and he has performed in festivals around the country, including Austin International Drag Fest, Thrust Fest in Boston, and Emerald City Kings Ball in Seattle. He's known for live vocals, elevated costuming, and his ability to create a compelling character on stage. He always goes out of his way to support and mentor emerging artists, and I'm so thrilled that he brought his years of experience and advice to the show. For our interview, Poundcake and I discussed his Beetlejuice draglesque act, featuring his rendition of Love Me Dead by Lewd. I had the pleasure of seeing an early version of this number live in 2023 when Poundcake was a guest judge during Kingpin Season 1. I was really hoping he would suggest this number because I love everything about it. It's so much fun to watch. I have it basically memorized beat for beat. He walks us through every variation and stage of development for this nationally touring act, and shares some valuable words of wisdom for new and experienced artists. I enjoyed this conversation so much, and I'm sure you will too. For the last time in 2025, let's take a listen. So this is actually the first time on the show that we're featuring a number with live vocals. I'm really excited that we're starting to involve this now. So before we get into the performance, could you tell me a little bit about your musical background? Have you always incorporated live singing into your drag?
That's been both like a negative thing to some people and a positive thing to others. I come from the 1900s. So
yeah.
When I first started doing like musical theater was in 2004.
Yeah.
And I decided once I started doing drag, which was in 2005, I was like, oh, I had, have you ever heard of Denise Russell?
I don't think I actually have.
So she's legendary, and she's been in the game for like way longer than I have. And she's traveling and she sings. She actually sings in drag. She has an incredible voice. And I saw her and I'm like, oh, well, then I could do that. Like, I know how to sing. And this was before I started testosterone as well. So like totally different sounding singing voice.
Right.
And I remember I did a pageant and I sang live. And I got points marked off for breaking the illusion.
Oof.
Yeah, and what really sucked was it was there was another entertainer that was a judge who just so happened to be a trans woman and a drag queen.
Wow.
And yeah, I couldn't help but think like, whoa, like, same team, friend. Like, why would you say that? You know, but this was a time when, you know, drag was, I try to explain to people that like in the 20 years that I've been doing drag, that there has been such an evolution that like
sure.
I had to check myself too.
Right.
And it's thanks to younger entertainers like yourself
Aww.
that have brought me along and had me like think differently. Like, gender is a performance, you know, like we don't need to have the illusion, you know, like we all know that you are a person up on stage.
Yeah.
We all know that you are not really a 6 foot long boa constrictor.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever the joke is that you are. Like, we all know that you are a person playing a character. So, like, why are we not suspending our disbelief just a little bit further?
Yeah.
But, you know, once my voice changed and I got more comfortable, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I could totally do this, because I was doing it in a theater setting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, it's really just a little bit more makeup and a different costume. So I've been doing that for probably been doing draglesque for like the past like 6 or 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So about there is where I've been like actually incorporating. I've been a singer my whole life, but it's rather new to bring it to drag.
That's one reason why I was really looking forward to having you on, is just that I know like how long you've been in the game, and there's a lot that you know and remember about the drag scene that like doesn't even necessarily like occur as a thought to people who've started in the past like 5 years or so. Like, I know for me, I've heard conversations with like other like transmasculine drag performers. I had a friend who was thinking about singing live, and he was nervous because he was like, I'm a soprano, they won't take me seriously. But then ultimately it was received well. So it's, on the one hand, it's like great that we've come so far, but yeah, it's still really disheartening that ever was something that would even like, this is a really vulnerable and impressive like performance art and talent that you can bring into your drag, and to have that be marked off as something is at odds with the masculine character is, ugh. I hate that.
Yeah, and it also felt like I know that this person wasn't like trying to misgender me or anything, but it definitely felt very like invalidating as like who I am as a person.
Right. Before we get into the number, I want to talk a little bit more about like trans experience in drag, because I know that's something that you continue to be outspoken about. I remember it was very recently that you were talking about like there are issues with people using neutral pronouns, people using they them pronouns for performers who actually only use he him pronouns, like it's he him in and out of drag. So could you talk a little bit about your experiences like advocating for yourself as a trans man and drag performer?
I definitely I'm almost ashamed to say that like it wasn't until I started looking the way that I do out of drag that I was able to feel that I could advocate for myself. It wasn't until I had like, I'm going to say maybe 10 years in the bag before I was like, oh, right, I can totally like, that person used the wrong, like I would constantly go to shows in the early days and be putting on makeup and putting on facial hair and have like drag queens make comments like, you know, I just don't understand, like, if you were going to like look like this and date men and whatnot, like why you didn't just stay a woman. And it's like, do you hear yourself? Like that you answered your own question. Because I'm not a straight woman. That's what's wrong with you. Like, or, you know, having them like make commentary about like, I just don't understand. It's like, well, I could say the same for you. I don't understand why anyone would want to put breasts on.
Exactly. That's the real question. That's the real question, isn't it?
Right. And honestly, in the experience, we are not called to understand.
Mm-hmm.
We are called to respect.
Right.
And if you can't understand, you can respect. You can educate yourself. But like, I've also had like, you know, the opposite where you get like chasers who are not respectful, but they're at least respectful of your gender identity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, if you're someone that's like young in the scene and young in the dating scene, that's dangerous. You know, I mean, it's dangerous for everybody, but it's dangerous because then you start thinking of yourself in that same way. You know, you start thinking like, am I only valuable because of how other people see me?
Yeah.
Rather than knowing your own intrinsic worth is independent of other people. But who am I? What do I know? Yeah, other than like being like invalidated for like that, I definitely had like tough experiences being the only king in dressing rooms for a very long time. And, you know, then I just kind of started like encouraging other people that wanted to do drag. Like every time I would see another drag king, it would be like another Pokemon. Like, oh my gosh, like I thought there were only, it was just us. Like, it was just me. I thought it was just me. And then like, you know, I'd immediately be like, oh my God, friend, let's do this. Let's do the thing together.
Yes.
And then it was like very difficult to get more than one of us, you know, seen together on a stage. And then there was like a boom when the Cleveland Kings and Girls came into my life. And that was, honestly, I feel like that's like the good old days for me. Like when I think about it, like 2007 to like 2011, probably.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, there was a boom in Kings. There was a demand for Kings and Girls shows. There were themed, you know, it was everything that like we were seeing mainstream drag artists get that were all queens. And it was ours, and we got to shape it, you know, how we saw fit. When that, like, of course, you know, bars closing and changing hands and whatnot make things difficult, and that's what happens. Is capitalism. My experience, honestly, like, the bad does not outweigh the good.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Well, that's really good to hear, because I do think that's, even though there are more king spaces now, but it still sometimes feels overwhelming. I've been in a couple of shows where I was one of just a couple kings, but there's also, at the same time as it being a bit of a struggle to like make yourself known to more mainstream performers, to the audience, there's also, I think, a certain pride in having a smaller and tighter knit performer community. Like, it's almost like, yeah, like we're in this together, and you're almost like on a political and personal level. I'm very proud to be a drag king and to have these, and to know just how hard we have to work to get this recognition, you know?
Absolutely. Interestingly enough, it seems like the tides have like shifted almost the other direction for me now. Now it's like everywhere I go, I'm like, drag kings, we're everywhere. Like, this is so cool. You know, attending like festivals and seeing like the vast amount of talent and the vast amount of stupidity that we allow ourselves to get away with on stage is magic.
Yes.
Like doing numbers that like you don't think that anybody might like enjoy it, but like you're in a room full of drag kings and fans of drag kings specifically that are just like a captive audience, and they're just giving you all the respect that you feel like you haven't had.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes you feel like you're a legitimate rock star just for that 5 minutes, you know, whatever 5 minutes. And then I can go be a gremlin, like, and nobody has to know who I am off stage.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. I agree. It's always really great to see the crowd, like, and both the crowd and like, especially when we're when performers get to be in the audience for each other, just that hyping each other up, that makes me, I'm wondering if this might be one of the spaces you were thinking about, but you were at Thrust Fest earlier this summer, weren't you?
Yes.
I'm shocked to realize that I haven't talked about this with anyone on the podcast yet, I don't think, but what was Thrust Fest like for you? What was being in that space like?
I mean, first of all, I've never been to Boston. So that was a thing. And I stayed with my good friend plugging Stevie Phoenix.
Yes.
And my partner, Batanya, and Riley Poppy Seed. We all stayed in a really nice, like, old house, very old. And like at first I was like, oh man, like what if like the number I bring, like what if nobody likes it? And what if like I'm a world-class worrier. I do have severe anxiety, so
yeah,
I'm really good at catastrophizing. So like I'm literally like, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? Like I was working on the embellishments of my costume up until the night before.
Wow.
Because I wanted everything to be perfect.
And just the way.
Right. And we get there to the venue to get ready for opening night. And I have never cared less about having a tiny dressing room space because of the energy that was there. Like, we may have been like all on top of each other, but somebody would be like, does anyone have this? And 6 people are like, I've got that, you know? And like, everybody like understood the assignment, and everybody was just like, just the hearing people talk each other up, just like, oh my God, I've been following you for years and I'm so glad to meet you. Or, you know, I believe I follow you, but like, if I don't, can we like hook, you know, that up? Like it was a really like, it's really humbling because for me, I just think like I'm me. I'm just who I am. You know, I'm never offended if someone doesn't know who I am because, like, let's be real. Like, who the hell am I in the grand scheme of the world? You know, like I'm not someone who has like a lot of notoriety outside of a circle this big, right? So when you have like other entertainers like coming up and saying stuff like that to you, it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know, because like I'm the one that wants to talk them up, and here they are giving that back to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just electric. And then it was very hot. Okay, so it was July.
July, yes.
Yes.
July.
So it was very, very warm. And I already run hot. And then after my hysterectomy, I run even hotter. So I was literally in my safety thong, my jockstrap, and my robe to watch the show because I was in Act 2. So I was like, I can't. I want to see everyone, but I can't do this. And Stevie was wearing a costume that he crocheted.
Oh no.
So we were both just like, why did we do this? For our art? For our art. It's for our art.
Yes.
And sitting there and watching Throb Zombie and Riley Poppy Seed come out just for the opening of the show, everyone was just screaming their heads off. Like, it was so loud. And it was like the sound just like, it was as if we were at like a Chapel Roan concert, you know, like last summer, you know, like it was just, everyone was so in that moment. And not only that, but like you could not tell. Like sometimes you can tell in any show you're in, and sometimes it's my number, but you can tell a number that someone like the audience really didn't like. So they're like, do like polite applause or like it's not as loud. No, every single person, did not matter what they did. Every single person got like screaming and cheering and like people losing their minds and money being thrown. Like it was so affirming. And then like, of course, like that next moment, like before you go on, you're standing there like, what if I'm the one? They're like, what if everything goes wrong? You know, I'm just like, yeah. And then like, I came out to do my number, and I don't know if people know this about me, but I pretty much improv pretty much every number I do. So I had done, and I actually did Beetlejuice for that performance. When I walked out, and it usually happens, is people realizing that I'm singing live, and it's usually met with like whispers or like, "Oh my god, like he's not really singing that. Oh my god, he really is." Like, it's because it's so something that they don't see.
Yeah.
And there were four of us that sang, and each person sang so differently, and it was such a different experience that the crowd was like silent in like reverence for a moment, and then like losing their like ever-loving minds because what is going on. And then like watching like that, I will say, like, I went back and watched the video, and like I can see the moment where like all of my energy just left at the very end of the number. Like I can see I dropped to my knees at the end of the number, and like I just kind of looked at the camera, and like you can see every bit of energy is gone. I left it there.
You left it all out
there. It's still on that stage. And then like watching the other two nights, it was very overwhelming in terms of how many people were there. I mean, they sold out like every night. And at one moment, Stevie and I like looked at each other, and we were both crying. And it was like, look at all these people that are here for Drag Kings.
Yeah.
Like, especially in Ohio, where we don't necessarily feel that love all the time, except with like our groups. So yeah, it was overwhelming in the best way.
Yes. Yeah. That sounds like such a beautiful experience. I'm definitely hoping for many more Thrust Fests to come. Sounds like such a great place to be.
It really is.
That does take us very nicely to the number you brought for today, which is your Beetlejuice number.
The cancerous need, like the salt source of the sea. High maintenance means you're a gluttonous queen, narcissistic and mean. Kill me romantically, fill my soul with vomit, then ask me for a piece of gum. Bitter and dumb, you're my sugar plum. I love you. She moves through moonbeams slowly. She knows just how to hold me. And when her edges soften, her body is my coffin. I know she drains me slowly. She wears me down to bones in bed.
Could you describe the concept and the costuming for the listener, for anyone who maybe hasn't seen pictures or video of it before?
Sure. So I have like 4 iterations of it, and it's just like built up each time. Originally, I decided that I wanted to do a talent number for a pageant. I don't want to plug the system. So
Oh yeah.
it was a national system, and I had never done one. So I was like, I need to come in like guns a-blazing. And I was like, I want to be Beetlejuice, and I want to do the whole being dead thing. So it started out as a number that was supposed to symbolize like my own funeral. Right. And I even had a eulogy for myself at the beginning. And then it did really well. It did win talent at nationals. So like, not mad at that.
Yeah.
And for nationals, I actually had a coffin commissioned. So I actually own a wooden coffin that is my specification.
Oh my god.
So the suit it's just a Beetlejuice suit that is covered in, I hand paint distressed it. So it like fades into blacks and grays. There is moss. I have puffy paint on it that looks like ooze. I have cockroaches all over it. It's really a disgusting work of art.
Yes.
And I just every time I look at it, I do more and more. For listeners who don't know, I am black, so I tend to use textured hair in any of my cosplays. So I have this wonderful, weird, giant afro mohawk that's green. And all of these greens do react with blacklight. So the costume has like pops of color in that way. It really lends itself to pretty much any stage. But so I had performed Love Me Dead before as like a vampire. And I was like, I could do more with this. I know I could. And it was kind of on the back burner. And I want to say it was Kingpin, season 1, that I was like, I was judging and I was like, oh, I need a second number. I don't know what to bring. And then I was like, I should sing Love Me Dead. That's such a good song for Beetlejuice. Like, that's so good. Why didn't I think of this? Mm-hmm. And yeah, it just kind of happened. And I just gave myself license to like play. Yeah. And that's what it's become. It's now been at Thrust Fest, the Ohio International Burlesque Festival. And I usually, also for the listeners who may not know my drag, I usually have a gag of something unexpected or how did that get in there that I usually pull out of my jock. And at Thrust Fest, it was a handful of fake cockroaches and worms. Yes. That I threw at the audience. And it's a great moment in the video too. But for OBF, you can't have any mess. So I was like, what can I do? So I have an 8-foot sandworm that I pull out of my jock. And it's so silly, right? Yeah. Like, that's where I start. I'm like, I think of a thing, and then I'm like, but how do I make it sillier?
Mm-hmm. That's so amazing. Yeah, that is, I love that costume so much. I mean, while I was preparing for this interview, I was like scrolling through, trying to studying like every iteration of it. And it's just the details and how it is. Like, it is super embellished. Like, it is, the lights hit it from every angle. Like, it's really sparkly, but it's also having something that is so sparkly and so gross, I think is so impressive. And yeah, I think it's really important. Thank you for mentioning that you always use like a really, really textured wigs, because I think that having just the principle of having like big hair in drag, like make everything bigger, make everything more elevated. And also there have been a bunch of different versions of Beetlejuice. I've been thinking the most about like the musical, like originated by Alex Brightman, where he's got like the green hair kind of spiked up, but like that can be bigger, that can be draggier, and that can also be more true to your identity. So I think that the black Beetlejuice with a green afro is like so important and so essential to this concept.
Little plug. So 2019, I was in New York City, and on a whim, I got to see Beetlejuice.
Wow.
And it was during World Pride. And so I have the gay bill, playbill.
Yeah.
And I was standing at the stage door after Beetlejuice, and I was listening to these two gentlemen in front of me talk, and they were talking about working with Alex on School of Rock. So like these were backup dancers like that know him, and they were very tall. And the one guy turned around. I don't know what made him do it. He turned around and looked at me. And he went, "Do you want to meet Alex Brightman?" Oh. And he pulled me in front of him and pushed me up to the like thing, and then was like, "Alex," and like waved him over. So I actually did get to meet him.
Wow.
And it was really surreal because he's like my size. Like he's like a little bit taller than me. Yeah, he looks bigger on stage, everyone, but he is probably like, when I say my size, I don't mean 5'1". He was probably like 5'6", but like still, that's close enough. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just, after listening to like interviews with him on how he does the voice and how to do it without hurting your voice. I mean, he has like an ability to use his vocal fry without using his vocal fry, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So I just had to like find ways around it that work for me. And like sometimes I think to myself, like, am I doing Alex Brightman proud?
No, yeah, that's amazing. That's something that I actually wanted to ask you about because you do one thing that really just is like the cherry on top for this number is that you sing Love Me Dead fully in character as Beetlejuice. Like you do that like gravelly and twisted texture.
How's your new boy? Does he know about me? You got the mark of the beast. You're part of the jackal. You're beautiful.
But you kind of answered that where you did have to like study what he was doing to do that without hurting himself and then figure it out. But I just in that case I just want to say that that's something that I really love about it because it's this synthesis of like you as a performer and then this song that like is already out there and is already like a character and like a story, and then you're also all of the layering, and again singing in character in the Beetlejuice voice is always so fun to see.
It's very fun to do, and the thing is, like, if I just get out there and just do this the whole time, like it kind of like ruins what's being done. It's too much.
Right.
So like you have to find like moments because like it can be impressive to do a character voice, but it's even more impressive if you're able to, and this is me watching someone, you know, it's more impressive to me to watch them go in and out of it seamlessly.
Yeah.
And like knowing like, oh, this note is like long and pretty and I could make this so pretty and like make it blossom and then back into like gross, you know?
Yes.
Like it's just, that's like my favorite part of doing the act. Like absolutely favorite part for sure is once the wig is on, I'm there, you know? And like, I don't know, it's also funny too when people have only seen that act and then they see like one of my like more lounge singer acts and then they're like, oh, you can sing. I thought it was just like a character, like you could, because you know some people like they can do like they do like Dolly Parton impersonation or whatever, but that's not their real voice.
Right. So
like if you haven't heard like something that I do that is my real voice, it's probably a little shocking to to hear the difference in that. That number is I probably will never retire it.
Right. No, good. Thank you for saying that because that is something because I've been listening to like basically every recording that I can find of you doing this. And I'm also thinking about, I think that potentially when I think about your live performances, I really think about this. There's this one, I forget what song it was. We both did Issa Vibe's open stage, the Babes,
yeah.
and you won that one with a live singing act, and like that one, the vocal quality of that one is very, very smooth, very, very lounge, and then comparing those in my head and thinking about, okay, yeah, here's a moment where like he's like carrying this through, and then there's this really fun ornamentation of the like getting the little growl in there. So I agree, having those levels and that versatility makes a big difference for the expression and for the audience appreciation of it. I really love seeing you do this live a lot because of what you were talking about with Thrustfest, where like when the audience is just losing it every time.
When her edge is softened, her body I know she breaks me slowly. She wears me down to
Every time that I've seen you do this act, and I'm thinking about when I saw you do it for Kingpin Season 1, I love that moment where every weird little gay person in the room recognize it. First they see the costume and they're like, okay, they're all like theater nerds and like, oh my god, is he doing that Beetlejuice? And then they hear the song, and this is like, I'm speaking for myself, but I also feel comfortable speaking for a bunch of other people in that room. Like, this is a song that we've loved since like middle school, high school. It's like got this this humor to it and the like creepy psychosexual masochistic stuff in it that we all latch onto. And yeah, I just really love that reaction that you can see from the crowd where everybody is singing along, but they're also in awe.
Like when I walk out for Thrust Fest and the light hits me and you just hear like, oh yeah, you know, everybody just getting it. And then I could like, normally I'm like stage blind. Mm-hmm. So like I'll walk out there and it doesn't matter. I do not hear or see the audience in any way. But like Thrust Fest was different because it was in like a theater space. So it was like where I started, you know? So it was almost like I was able to like meet my younger self there, you know? And like I can remember specific moments. Like I remember taking off my glove and shoving it in my friend's partner's mouth. And they sat there with it in their mouth just like for the rest of the number, just geeked. And I loved it. I can remember like getting in people's faces and like taking the dollars roughly from them because like I don't like snatching dollars ever, but Beetlejuice would snatch a dollar.
Beetlejuice would snatch a dollar.
Yeah, just like if I'm not doing drag for the weirdos, then who am I doing it for?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm glad that you mentioned that, a couple of the like glove peels and such, because we've been talking about how this is live singing and burlesque as Beetlejuice. And I know you mentioned earlier that you tend to improv your numbers, so this probably changes from like version to version. But could you tell me a little bit about the reveals and like how you time them, how you chart that movement through the song?
Usually it's like it'll kind of come to me in the moment. Like if when I go back and watch the Thrust Fest video, I feel like that was like the pinnacle of the performance because like everything just came together organically. And now I'm kind of like chasing that every time I do it. But like just something as simple as like knowing when to start stripping, because that's another factor, you know, like not every drag king does burlesque. So like, that's also another like moment for the audience sometimes. So a little fun fact is when I made the costume originally, I made it with pants that fit, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, then I decided it was going to be a burlesque costume and I needed pants that were bigger so that I could make them tearaways.
Right.
So I now own 3 different pairs of Beetlejuice pants. And none of them fit because I have gained weight. So I realized that, I also did the number in Austin. And that's when I realized that the pants no longer fit. And so I realized this as I'm ready to like go walk into the wings and be ready for my next number. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to take the pants off first.
Yeah.
And normally pants are last for me. So like that was, I was like, okay, well, I guess that's fine. I will figure it out. So I just kind of like walked a little funny up to the microphone. It worked. But yeah, I put everything on the mic stand and then the pants came off first and then everything was magic after that. Like something as simple as like trying to think of the exact moment where it happens, but like using my tie as a noose.
Yes.
You know, the first time I say dead.
Yes.
And then taking off the jacket reveals an even more grungy, disgusting shirt. So like and the jacket has like this bright green lining on the inside. So like the reveal of that is always like, ooh, like, okay, this is a nice suit. And it's like, it's really gross, but it's a nice suit.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the tie and then the shirt. And underneath that, I have a green corset because it's an underbust because I like to pay homage to all of the burlesque entertainers that came before me.
Yeah.
And especially because most of them were female, were women, were, you know, like people who have been marginalized so much for their bodies. And so I always think like how beautiful showgirls look in a corset or an underbust. And I want to feel that too. So that's why I usually wear one. And I do have a couple that I can take off one-handed, but for this number specifically, this is a two-handed job. If I don't have a mic stand, I'm very good at juggling the mic back and forth, and I am able to like strip one-handed.
Yeah.
And once that corset comes off and I have like spiderweb pasties and everything is black and white striped except for like the corset is green.
Right.
And covered in cockroaches and slime.
Yes.
And then I've got like the stripy socks that have slime all over them, and stripy arm warmers, and the jock is a stripy one, and it's grungy and gross, and there's like a big green stain on the front. Yeah, and then of course, either the bugs or the sandworm that come out. So as I'm performing, I literally am timing myself, because there is like that little interlude in the song, the like that kind of like embellished thing. And that was where I was like, oh, there's this really cool guitar riff. Wouldn't it be cool if I like spun around and like took off my corset there?
Yeah.
And then like, wouldn't it be cool if I did like a high kick? Oh, the boots. I forgot to talk about the boots. Like I'll have these big platform green and black boots that say Beetle Cake on the side.
Nice.
And I do like a little like kick line in those, and like everything about this Beetlejuice number is I was like, oh, what if I stumble? And then I said to myself, well, Beetlejuice is like dead. he probably would stumble just a little bit.
Yeah. So
yeah, just like trying to find moments where the character lends itself to something happening, and like, if my pants come off too early, they come off too early. The show must go on.
Yes. No, I really appreciate that like step-by-step review of everything that goes into the costuming and the reveals, because I have been thinking about this and how the Beetlejuice character lets you hit so many beats of like, this character is like silly and gross and sexual, and I feel like some different portrayals of Beetlejuice like lean more into one of those facets than another, but this lets you really like toggle between them at like all of the different moments that you want to. I'm sure, and you were talking about some of the different things that you have to juggle, and I'm sure that you could give like a multi-session class on everything that has to go into balancing vocals with reveals with crowd work. But if you had to narrow it down, what sort of skills and performance choices would you say are most important for executing this number?
Honestly, I would say being comfortable enough in yourself to know that like this is a character, and what this character is doing is not necessarily who I am. Because like, the audience signs a contract when they come in that they're going to play with you. Right? Even if it's not like touching, it doesn't have to be touching, but like knowing that like I can look at them a certain way, or, like snatching $1 from someone and still giving them that moment. I think honestly, like just having a good sense of your body and the space that it's in is the number one. That's the number one tool that I have for this number specifically. Like knowing like how well can I move in these shoes? Or is there a pole in the middle of the place that I could wrap myself around? Is there like, what kind of seating is it? Is it possible for me is there an open chair over there? Is it possible for me to like sit in this chair for a second? Is it possible to, have like, is there someone in the audience and I also have poor vision, so that's not helpful.
Right.
And I wear like weird contacts, so like I've effectively like taken away like one of my senses. But yeah, just knowing yourself, knowing your body and what it's capable of, and then also knowing that the audience is there for you.
Yeah.
Because, we wouldn't be there without an audience, but they wouldn't be there without us.
Right.
You know, and it's important to remember that. So, you know, give them the show that they paid for. And that's what I tell myself every time.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah, that's a really good way to like sort of crystallize it as like staying centered, whether that's in yourself, in the space, in your relationship with the audience. So thank you. When I've been thinking about this performance, and I've also been thinking about the other numbers that I've seen you do, and when I think about your drag, I think about characters because you have this Beetlejuice act, you have a Bowser act. I just saw you and your partner Sally do a Wario and Waluigi act. So I was wondering if you could tell me some more about how and why you take this inspiration from really beloved fictional characters.
So, like I said before about like the weirdos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, as a kid, I was always like that kid that never wanted to take off my Halloween costume.
Mm.
Or, you know, I would latch on to a character that I just really loved and I just wanted to be them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, but how do I make it drag? Like, how do I make this palatable? And like, I really like villains because, like, I was just thinking, I have a Tamatoa act, I have a Dr. Facilier. Beetlejuice is kind of like an anti-hero, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Bowser, Wario, Mojo Jojo, Oogie Boogie.
Yeah.
So, like, oh, King Louie. So I have, like, all of them. That's most of my cosplay acts. So, like, I've always, like, really enjoyed a villain or an underdog or someone that is, I guess the thing about all these characters is they're iconic, they're charismatic,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a way of convincing you just in that moment that, well, maybe I'm not all bad.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I am doing that for, like, I don't know, it's like my transness maybe, or like,
yeah.
like kind of trying to like bring to light that like this is like these are all ways that like we've all been demonized as trans people, as drag entertainers, as weirdos. You know, we've had to deal with the outside world like criticizing us and telling us we're not worthy. And like what's something that villains generally have in their backstory? Something like that.
Yeah.
So it's easy to like empower that character and then take that character off. You know, it's very easy to be someone that you love to hate.
Yes. Yes.
Like everybody, and it's also unexpected because like everybody expects to see a number where someone is Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone expects to see a number where, you know, they might be Jack Skellington, which I also do Jack Skellington, but it's so different than doing Oogie Boogie. Like Oogie Boogie gives you like the fun to play, and Jack almost is more like buttoned up. So it's like two sides of the same coin. But I just feel like so attached to cartoon villainy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it's just I grew up with a lot of Disney, and the villains had the best songs. So that's kind of where it started, and I think that's kind of where it is. It's not headed anywhere else. That's just where it is.
Yeah. No, I really like that. That last piece really helps it like click for me because we do talk about the queer-coded villain, especially the queer-coded Disney villain and then the cartoon villain, where this is even though there might be the people who originally told that story might not have had good motivations behind why this is the character that you can easily read as like gay or gender nonconforming, but as queer and trans people, when you can take that narrative and you can make this a powerful, sympathetic, and just plain fun character, there's something both really fun and really political about that. I like that.
Yeah, and it feels like, and also like I try to choose characters, and this is just me, but like I try to choose characters that either the fact that I'm short really like lends itself to like, oh, this is a larger than life character, so now I get to add things to make myself bigger.
Yeah.
And change the silhouette. Or like Wario, for instance, he's short and fat and weird. And well, you're looking at me. The listeners aren't, but you are. And and so I like leaning into that for him. And it honestly like it really helps me to remember to love myself a little more.
Yeah.
You know, and like I've struggled with body issues my whole life, you know, and now being someone that like gets a you know, a little bit of money for taking off my clothes, like I feel like it's like, even though I'm not like, ooh, I'm not like a famous household name, I don't ever want that kind of fame. Unless it's a drag household, and then I'm okay.
Yes.
But like, you know, being someone who like has always been like told about how I look, it's really nice to have people telling me like the opposite of what I've heard, you know, and like that I did the thing and now it's out in the world, and the people that are receiving it are not only receptive, but they're asking for more.
Yeah.
You know, like that's incredible.
I do have to agree from personal experience. There is nothing has been like more transformative for my like confidence or self-image than like doing burlesque and like having a positive response to that. Like you start to just get really, really comfortable in a way that I never thought I would be before. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, because of your experience in the drag scene, I wanted to ask, what advice would you give to drag kings, and especially trans drag kings, who are learning to advocate for themselves, put themselves out there, and feel comfortable in themselves in this performance space?
I would say if you're just starting out as a drag king, like be a sponge. Okay, like get into the rooms, and also it's very important, and you do this, so it's very important to learn the culture and to kitten.
Yes,
it's very important to kitten, to stagehand, to, you know, help someone else in some way, because honestly, like once you've done that, you really understand what goes into doing a show.
Yeah.
And it's something that like a lot of burlesque troupes do, is like you have to kitten a certain amount of times before you get on stage. And I think it's really valuable. And that's not necessarily something that was a thing in the drag scene when I started. But yeah, be a sponge. Like, go and meet other entertainers, talk to them, learn about their experiences, like especially those that have been doing it for 20 years, 30 years, whatever, and especially those who've been doing it for a year. You know, like compare their experiences, like apply it to yourself, take every bit of advice and decide whether it applies to you. And if you can use it, take it. And if you can't, leave it there. That would be the number one thing that I would say. And I know there's like open stages are closing a lot, and travel is difficult for some people. Like I don't drive long distances, and I can't drive at night, so I have to rely on my partners, and that takes a toll. But like I feel bad that I can't go to more shows, but I'm gonna say go to as many drag shows that you can. And don't just go to like one kind. Don't just go to shows with all queens. Don't just go to all king shows. Right. And don't just go to drag shows. Go to burlesque shows. Go to clown shows, kink shows, whatever you can. And just like learn all of the things, because honestly, like you can use a little bit improv shows even.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm currently on hiatus, but I am part of an improv troupe. So like going to those shows really gives you like the edge on like knowing how to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Both the making connections in your scene and like learning to appreciate the people in your scene, and also absorbing all the knowledge that you can. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
And then I know we were talking about this near the beginning, some of the ways that the scene has changed, particularly in its like relationship to and appreciation for drag king specifically. But looking at where we are now, what changes do you still want to see in the ways that audiences, performers, and maybe cis people in general interact with drag kings?
Well, for one thing, I would say I don't know necessarily if there's anything that I want I don't know if there's necessarily anything that I want like audiences to change, because I've seen like such good ones.
Mm-hmm.
But for like the entertainers, like I would love to see, like, I'll just use an example of a benchmark. So like when I started doing drag, it was the dreaded Ace Bandage era.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it was also like if you were using chest tape, that if you showed that, it was like, oh my god, I can't believe the illusion is shattered. You're showing your tape. Oh my gosh. So like that was something that was kind of a culture shock to me when I saw younger kings, like just, my shirt's off and here I am. This is my body and take it or leave it. And at first I was like, oh my god, I can't believe. And then when I really thought about it, because just take a minute outside yourself, and I was like, that's empowering for someone. And not only that, but what changed between that shirt being on and that shirt coming off? Nothing. I'm still looking at the same entertainer. They're still doing the same thing. And sometimes people wear things on their body.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be so black and white. Like, the world is nuanced, and I think what I'd like to see going forward is more of that. More entertainers supporting each other through things that they themselves might not have even faced. Like, I just think that we've come so far, but we could go farther. And being an alternative entertainer, I enjoy Dragula, but and I've talked about this with my partner and with other people, but when RuPaul came out, because I remember going to like a bar for the first RuPaul episode, everything was different then. And then all of a sudden everything became like the RuPaulification of drag, right?
Yeah.
And now we're kind of seeing that with Dragula. We're seeing like where every alternative entertainer is like expected to do extreme filth or, like horror and body gore and blood and guts and poop and, and throwing up and sideshow acts, which are very important. They are very important and they do have a place, but not everyone can or should be doing these things.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing a lot of people, they're like, well, that's not alt and that's not. Now we're seeing a lot more gatekeeping. And it's like, well, no, drag isn't a box. Like, it's a bubble and you can move in and out of a bubble. Yeah. Like, why are we like doing that? And then also, I guess this is for cis people. And for cis het people that may have never seen a drag show before except on TV. What you see on TV is what they want you to see. What you see on stage is what they want you to see, and sometimes what they don't want you to see because you're seeing it with your own eyes in real time. Yeah. So, like, maybe don't compare people to things you've seen on TV. Maybe don't give people suggestions. That's another thing, like, that I've definitely had, like, an audience member kind of start giving a suggestion, and it's like, whoa, I didn't ask. Like, maybe just appreciate the art, and you don't have to say everything. You can use your filter. And if you don't have one, I'll give you my guy's name and you can get it installed.
That's Perfect. Wonderful. I really wish.
Yeah, just.
I really wish that we could do like a walk-in day. Everybody can come up and get their filter and learn to be nice. That would be wonderful.
Right? And not every act is for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it's an act that an entertainer is doing just for themselves, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You're just there to witness it and be part of it, and you should be honored that they want to show you their art. We all should be.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Is there anything else that you'd like to share or anything that we didn't cover before we sign off?
I know I spoke a lot to like younger people, but I want to speak to older people now.
Yeah.
People who've like been in the game for a while. You are not above improvement. You're not above learning and growing and changing. And if we want change, we have to give people the chance to do so. And we have to be willing to look inside ourselves and see what we might need to change, because we're not always the nicest people to our own community. And like, it doesn't matter how many stages you've been on. It doesn't matter how many festivals you've done or how many titles you've won, how many crowns you have. None of that matters in the grand scheme of things. What really matters is how you treat the other people in your craft and in your community. So like, maybe if someone is starting off and they look like they might need a little help, there's no harm in asking if they want help, but we don't need to like jump in and start giving people critiques and I think you should do this and I think you should do that. If you're not judging a competition, we don't need to have, like, we can have an opinion, but we don't need to say it all the time. And like, you were there. You were in their shoes. Like, I was in your shoes at some point. And, you know, once everybody hopefully realizes that not a single one of us is above judgment, maybe we will get to that place, that magical place where we don't have any worries. But until then, we have to be willing to do the damn work.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Well, this has been a pleasure. I feel like I have learned so much and just had so much fun. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Kings on the Aux. This episode featured Youngstown drag king Poundcake and was hosted by Cleveland drag king Caius. You can find Poundcake's looks, performance videos, and upcoming show dates on Instagram at YoKingPoundcake. That's yo_king_poundcake. You can find me on Instagram at Caius. That's CAIUS Crow. Questions, comments, compliments, complaints? Send me a message on Instagram at KingsOnTheAux or email me at caiuscrow@gmail.com. I'll talk to you soon on our next episode. Thank you for supporting local drag.